It's called Cutting Out the Middleman. En route, before leaving a bag of clothes at the thrift store, I stopped for gas, filled the tank, and walked in to pay. The guy behind the counter was talking with an accent at some blonde in a business suit with an uncomfortable face who shifted her weight from one hip to the other and looked like she needed to pee. The clerk smiled and talked, more at her than to her. He was really having a good time holding her pack of cigarettes hostage until he was satisfied. It all took longer than it should have. I thought about being a woman. I thought about being a man. I thought about biting off his left ear. When he was finished, she had a difficult time opening the door, and after paying the man with silence, I sat back in the car, watching the woman light her cigarette with the windows rolled up, lipstick pink on the filter. I thought about how terrible we are to each other. When she drove away, I started the car and realized the bag of clothes was gone. Cutting out the middleman. This is called The Boss's Wife. We left his house walking to the job site, but when we got there, he realized he'd left the checkbook at home. He called his wife to say I'd be coming by for the checkbook. When I got there, the boss's wife was wearing makeup and was in a very good mood with 2 cups of tea on the kitchen table. I never told my boss about that. It's called fair trade. A man stole my friend's money off the counter and put it in his mouth. I know this because after looking in his wallet and all of his pockets and under his hat, I squeezed the sides of his face with my thumb and fingers as hard as I could. And when his mouth opened, the money lay like a pearl glistening on his tongue. While my friend pulled the money apart with his fingertips, I handed the man his wallet and told him we would be keeping the money in it and his driver's license, and he got to leave. Sometimes I look at papers and it's kind of like looking in the refrigerator and it's all ketchup. I don't know about this one. State of the Union. Like never. 50 years ago, viewers were allowed only Elvis Presley's face, as his hips gyrated rhythmically while playing the music of black people. Today, at the Young Men's Christian Association, women in lines wearing tight clothing stood, gyrating their hips, thighs, buttocks, breasts, sphincter muscles, and kegels in rhythm to music made by actual black people. This is called the first session. The pre-counseling evaluation stated, I have low confidence, am not assertive, avoid conflict with my partner, my perceived stress level is 90% compared with her 20, I have a low level of organization, am emotionally unsteady, eat too much, exercise too little, lack time. As the counselor translated our results like dinner menu specials, I became immersed in the full-color illustrations. Bar graphs up here, bar graphs down here, pie charts, erratic line graphs, page after page, arrows highlighting points of interest, listed with sterile precision. The counselor continued speaking, page turning page, blurring bright. Ed, this is empirically why you were an awful person. Then the counselor stopped talking and it was our turn. It's a lot of fun. This is called The Way He Always Wanted. In the night, seeing a guy walk out of an open pantry, I looked twice, thinking he was a friend from high school. Mistaken, but it made me remember. In my sophomore year, this guy's father moved his boys out by us to get away from the Folks versus Latin Kings drive-by shootings my new friend had participated in. It seemed to work. I got him a job with me at KFC, and he didn't skip school to smoke pot too often. A couple years later, we all graduated. My friend tried a semester of tech school, but wasn't much of a student. Bored, still working as a fry cook, he joined up. And after we threw him a party, he went off to basic. Shortly after, he was sent overseas and killed in battle. The way he always wanted. This is called the Darwin Commerce District. At the strip mall Eddie Bauer, the child-proof plastic packaging containing a keychain accessory knife with 2-inch serrated blade provided instruction of how one would transform the product into a spear. The keychain also featured an infrared nightlight, removable toothpick, and hair comb. While learning how to hunt wild game after securing the knife on the end of a stick using a lace from my hiking boot, a squeaking voice asked if I was finding everything okay. I looked up to a skinny boy with crunchy stylized hair and puffy vest, smiling teeth gums, and blinked at him twice. Dally, sitting in a chair next to other people sitting in chairs, listening to a poet talk words he's uncovered. I drift off, thinking about Mike Tyson. An entire life's work forgotten after biting the ear of a man who headbutted him repeatedly. I am convinced the absence of need to find our own survival has left us frivolous. Idle hands, all that. The poet is saying many words. He is entertained by the many large words he is saying. He loves them like grandchildren. I wonder how many people in the room could butcher a mammal cooling on a bed of dewdrops. Would they moralize until baby bottles develop Venus envy? If a tree falls in the forest without a video on the internet, was there ever a tree? I didn't mean to put two hunting poems together. It just happened that way. Oh, this is fun. Here's a Christmas poem. The Christians. For 3 years, I sold Christmas trees. 7 days a week, 13 hours a day from Thanksgiving until late December. And throughout all those hours of arguing spouses and yawning children, only one person ever mentioned Jesus. You'd think that would happen more often. At least I would. These are a couple of poems. You guys all right? Your butt's not too sore yet? Okay. Well, if that happens, let me know. I don't have a watch on. We could have been here for an hour already. So these are dialogue poems where I basically use a poem as a way to capture something someone said to me that I thought worthwhile. And I try to spell it out so that it's not necessarily words, but if you're reading it, you go, oh, that's the accent this person has. That's how they're saying it. This is called Weekend of Male Bondage. Up north, go hunting up at the cabin for a weekend sometime this fall, you know. Nothing special, you know, just kind of roughing it, a bunch of beers with the guys, just kind of getting away from it all, not have to shower for a couple of days. You go outside all day and sit in the forest up on a tree stand. It's real peaceful, you know. I don't mean to get all sentimental, but those are the kinds of moments in life you can really savor. And, you know, hey, you know, maybe we get some deers, you know, maybe we don't. It's not like we go up there specifically to hunt. It's more about just hanging out in the cabin, real nice, get away for a couple of days. Chill out in some nature, just take it easy, you know, just a weekend of male bondage.